No, I just walked up here, so worked out. All right, that was fun. I thought the most impressive thing to me was the fact that I thought we were great teammates today. And I thought it permeated through the whole game. I thought our bench brought a ton of energy. I thought that we were determined defensively to be connected, and I thought that's where it started, and you could feel it early. You know, it was 10-6 at the first media, and, you know, you could see our defensive energy, and you could see the improvement there. And I thought if we could continue to build on that and sustain that, that we were going to be able to have some success because we were going to be able to get out and run. And, you know, the crowd got into it. So was really pleased to see more determination on the defensive end of the floor. And I thought we won in terms of all the gritty areas of the game. I thought we were first to the floor. I thought we had a lot of possessions, especially in the first half, that there were some 50-50 balls and we were able to turn them into points. And I thought that's where it all started, and it's always where it starts for us. But then you go to offense. I thought we ran the floor hard. I thought we moved it well. I thought in the half court, you know, everybody's going to talk about Clay's shots, which were great, but he also had some fantastic cuts. And I thought that we were able to cut some of their pressure, which loosened it up on the edges. And, you know, one of the goals getting into this game was to get back to a 20-10 game, which is what we like to do, 20 assists and 10 turnovers. And instead it was a 24-5 night. And a couple of those turnovers were really early in the game. And so it was complete. I think that was one of our most complete performances of the year, and it was great to see the defensive intensity back.
What does that mean for you to see that? You know, the guys they're 11-0, the finals and all that stuff, but to come out and give that kind of effort.
You know, it just shows that we're focused on the right things right now. And you know, a lot of people have questioned some of the scheduling and playing through finals, but we've been able to balance it. We've been able to really, you know, get them the rest required to get through finals. But at the same time, we had to be really efficient in our preparation. And, you know, we went for about 60 minutes yesterday, but it was great. I mean, it was one of our best practices of the year. It was quick. It was efficient. We flew around. We moved the ball, and you could just sense that the group was pretty dialed in, and that carried over into the game today.
You talked about Clay's cutting and his shots. Did you teach him that bounce pass, Alex?
Yeah. We worked on that and walked through this morning. You know, we did that in shoot around. You know, Clay has no idea how good he can be, and I have to tell Clay all the time how good he is. And he's one of these people that, you know, it's in life. Sometimes you don't realize how great you can be, and this is all kind of new for Clay. But Clay's a complete player, and when he's focused and he's dialed in, he can defend multiple positions. He can rebound, he can pass, he can cut, he can make shots. There's not a lot that he can't do out there. And a lot of times it's him making sure that he's intense without being tense, and that he just goes out there and plays the game the right way. But when he's free and he's not thinking and he's not down on himself and he's got that head up, watch out. And, you know, he's a difference maker.
What you just said about Clay can easily be, and they score in different ways, can easily be applied to Matt Rafferty. How much does his influence help Clay?
I think a lot. You know, I think Matt influences me. You know, like, I mean, Matt's one of the toughest people I've ever met in my life. And knowing Matt and being around Matt on a daily basis makes me want to get better. And I'm driving home from practice the other night, and I get a text from Matt that's a quote that says, "Coach, I think this is our team right now." You know, like, who's doing that across the country? You know, sending the head coach a quote that they read that they think implies to our team because he cares that much and he wants to lead. Like, that's Matt Rafferty. And so Matt Rafferty, he's so undervalued because he's not going to jump over you, and he's not going to do – he's one of the best post players in the country. And I'll put that on anybody, period. The way he passes, how hard he plays, his intensity throughout the entire game, he doesn't take breaks. He's always a great teammate. He can rebound, he can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass, he can cut. He hit a 3 tonight. What can the kid not do out there? And I think we talk about his ability to score and we talk about his ability to rebound. Find another complete one like that plays in the interior across the country. And I know everybody's talking about him some, but because there's no flash and dash on it and he's not above the rim and there's no big-time highlights, he's not getting the credit that he deserves, in my opinion. And I know that you might think, man, this guy's crazy. Like, we write and talk about this guy all the time and he deserves it. But in the whole scale of it, like, who else out there is getting a double-double? Tonight, 13 points, 11 boards, 7 assists, no turnovers, 2 blocks, 4 steals, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 1 for 1 from the three-point line, and he only took 7 shots.
28 minutes.
So I rest on that.
So, Coach, to that point, is this the most physical your team has played this season? And what did you guys do against Devontae Cade to kind of get him out of his way?
We talked about our defensive intensity a lot the last few days, and just in those moments when the margin gets to 6, 7, or 8, great teams extend margins. And Tuesday night we had a few chances to push the margin, and we got it to 7, 8, or 9 4 times, and it got to a tie. And it would just back and great teams get in those moments, and they get even better, and they push margin. And I thought we did that tonight. And our best 2 defensive performances of the year so far analytically are Villanova and Loyola, right? And there's a reason why we were able to win those games. And I thought tonight felt like that. I thought that the defensive intensity, it felt like the Villanova game, it felt like the Loyola game. I thought it was consistent throughout. Those games were tighter. And so I credit our players that they were able to keep that intensity with the margin increasing, and that was good to see.
Bob, what kind of opportunities ahead for you guys at LSU?
It's a big one. It's a big one, and every next game's a big one, and we treat it. Our prep won't be any different. We've been pretty. I'm not really. I don't call myself superstitious. I'm routine driven, and so we kind of do the same routine. Every time we play a game, and we watch the same film and the same prep and the same practice, and we'll tweak a couple drills here and there. But I think the biggest thing, in life, most of the time, when you get big opportunities, it still comes back to the simplest fundamentals. There's not going to be anything that we've got to go do different than what we've done to go try to play our best. I don't know. You can't sit here and predict outcomes, but what puts us in the best position to go have a chance to be successful, we got to stick to who we are, and we got to be true to who we are. And, it's what we saw tonight. We got to be great teammates first and foremost. We've got to make sure we're intense with our defense and that we're connected, and then we've got to make sure that we're moving the ball. And, the worst thing we can do, there's going to be a lot of hype on this game. We got to keep it about the substance. And the worst thing we can do is get caught up in the hype. We've got to keep our composure. We got to be cool. We've got to be collected, and we've got to make sure that we focus on the substance and we'll leave the hype to what it is, and get our blinders on, focus on our game plan, and just go out there and try to play the best we can. And LSU's really, really good. They're really athletic. I've known Will for a long time. He's a phenomenal basketball coach, and his teams are going to play really, really hard, and they're going to get out, and they're athletic, they're long, so it's going to be a great challenge.
I don't know if you heard your students, but they were chanting for Kansas. They want Kansas. Are you guys ready for Kansas yet, or not quite yet?
We're going to focus on LSU. We're going to focus on LSU.
With 15 minutes left, this game was 45-35. Every Division I home game this year has kind of had some drama down the stretch. What was the difference today? Close enough.
Just fixed our defensive transition. We just had some horrible defensive transition plays in that period. You could see it from the jump out of half. We weren't quite as intense as we needed to be in our defensive positioning. We weren't running back, and we just had to get to the when Jordan hit that shot, we called a timeout just to kind of refocus them, and I thought it was the right time to call the timeout and just again get back to our defensive fundamentals and don't get caught up in the scoreboard. Don't relax. Let's try to see if we can push the margin, and we ended up making a pretty substantial run.
Do you think Jordan's stretch at the end where he kind of saw some shots go in, how beneficial is that going to be for him after Tuesday night and the early part of this game?
Jordan, the great thing about Jordan, he thought every one of those shots were going in today. And I just kept telling him to keep shooting. And that's what I tell all these guys. If they do their job, again, this is about approach quality, right? Like if they're doing what they need to do outside of game day and in their preparation and they're taking great shots within our offense, let it fly. And that's what we said at halftime. Alex had hit, 3, Clay had hit 5, Andrew and Jordan hadn't hit one yet, and I just told him, I said, you better keep shooting it. I thought Jordan in the first half had one in the left corner that should have gone up, And we got to shoot with conviction. That's what we do here. And, as long as our approach is right and we've got room, rhythm, and range, we want that ball in the air. And so I was proud that he kept his head in the game. I thought his energy was great. I thought his poise was great. I didn't sense him being down at any stretch in that game. He was great in the huddles. And so, you can't let that derail you. You've got to have an 0 for 0 mentality, and you just got to let the next one get up in the air.
Bob, I promise I won't keep you too much longer.
You're fine. We don't get this luxury a lot. You can stay here as long as you want.
I was going to say, I had a chance to talk with Frank Selby after the game a little bit. He said he came out before the season, talked to you guys a little bit. What kind of message did he send to your guys? And what is it like to have a resource like that you can tap into at a place like this?
Frank's been phenomenal. He's around when he needs to be, and we were able to honor him with the video boards, which was a really special night. And we had a lot of our boosters and supporters and players here for that night, and it was just really special. And Furman's got a lot of great tradition, and it's been fun to build the program up to where all of a sudden people are starting to look back at that tradition a little bit, and then there's some belief that's starting to build that we can continue this and keep this thing going. And to have people like Frank, to have Claude Mays, I saw him before the game, it's unifying, and that's what winning does. It's also what building a program does for them to understand that they're always welcome. And John Davis was in our locker room today. He flew in this morning from Cleveland, Ohio. He coached a basketball game last night. By the way, he won in overtime versus a good team. And then he's in the locker room. And so we want a program. We don't just want a team. We want a program, and we want former players. We want this. We want the city. We want the students. We want everybody to be in this. And for that to be taking place, it's definitely a humble experience. All right.